Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Touch You Talk Show. My name is Elder Sheila Black. Guess what? I have three very special guests on the show tonight. I want you to take this opportunity to go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and tag someone that is resources. I ask that you would share this video right now so that they will receive all that we are giving on tonight. So I would like to introduce to you Brandon Whittier. He is going to talk about government contracts tonight. How are you, Brandon?
Oh, doing good. Glad to be here.
Good, good. Could y'all hear my dog coming in a few minutes ago?
Yeah, cool.
He wanted to be a part of the talk show, but he knows that I don't allow him to do that. Okay. All right. And then I have Bosque Moore. Hi, Bosque. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, and he's going to talk about his nonprofit, his community outreach. This is just a great, great, great community outreach where he is helping people all over the place. And then we will talk to Renix Graham. How are you today, Renix?
Doing good. Fantastic.
Renix Graham the third.
Renix Graham the third.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. 3 generations.
Right.
And he is going to talk about, explain it a little bit.
Yeah, that is the ERC. That's the Employee Retention Tax Credit.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to start out by talking with Brandon. So Bosque and Renix, they will go to the backstage and they'll come back in a little bit. Okay. All right. Hold on. I did the wrong one. There we go. All right, Brandon, let's talk about you. First of all, tell me about what you do, your background.
Yeah, so once again, Sheila, pleasure being here. Thanks for inviting me. So my background is I'm a federal contracting officer, and so I currently work for the Department of Energy. But I have to put out the disclaimer that I'm not here in the official capacity. I'm here to give the knowledge, So I currently work as a contracting officer for Department of Energy. I'm out of Chicago, Illinois. I've been a contracting officer for the federal government for various agencies for the last 15, 16 years. So seen a lot of different contracts, a lot of different contract types, and I've worked with quite a few contractors. And so I guess for those that don't know, the role of the contracting officer, at least from a federal government standpoint, is we're the ones who ultimately award the contracts. And so the way everything is structured is typically a government agency that needs a service or they need some type of supply or commodity. Well, it has to go through a contracting officer in order to be purchased. So we kind of do the purchasing for the federal government. So
Okay, so who would actually be eligible?
well, so there's a lot of different ways to become eligible. One of the big pushes is typically for small businesses, and so there's some different ways to go about, getting the different small business certifications. A lot of the contracts are actually set aside to small business, and so the government has a push to find those businesses to contract with them. Now, if it's something that's really, a huge project and the requirement for that agency is really unique, then, based on market research, if market research shows that there's not enough small businesses who can, perform that service or provide that commodity, then those procurements are typically opened up to large businesses. But for the most part, every agency has small business goals that they try to meet each year, and so they're looking for small businesses to contract with.
So tell me, what are some of the requirements of the small businesses? Meaning, you have to be what? Tell me, you have to have your EIN number. Just give me some things that the
Yeah,
small
yeah.
business would have to have in order to be able to be eligible.
Yeah, so right now, actually, before all you really needed was a DUNS number, but that just recently changed, and now they're pushing you have to have it's like a unique, I think it's called a unique identifier number. It's brand new. This just got rolled out this month, from my understanding. But so you would register with that number on it's a website called sam.gov, and so sam.gov is also a government point of entry, and that's sam.gov, and so you go to that website and you can register your business and you can get that unique number. So that would be like your very first step is getting that number, and so typically a small business is going to be a business with it's based on the number of employees, but usually if it's most of the time if it's under like 100 employees it's considered small. So it may be large to us, we may think of it as being large, but from a federal government standpoint it's still considered small. And then the way they do it is based on what the service is or what the commodity is being sold. They have a classification numbers for those things. So, for example, if it's a janitorial service, um, the number, it'll have whatever number to it, and then the Small Business Administration, they'll determine what's considered small in terms of dollar amount, that you bring in per year based on that classification number. And so so it could be, if you made under $10 million, you may be considered small, depending on what the category is. And so that's usually the start. And so what I usually try to advise folks to do is to get in contact with the Small Business Administration, and they have local offices. And it's just a really good resource to use because they have different programs that allow for sole source contracting, as well as they have mentor protege programs. Well, they'll take a small business and they'll give you a mentor that's a large business, to kind of help you go out there and get the contracts and kind of make it through. And then SBA, and that's Small Business Administration, they also have a program that they call the eight, it's the number eight in the little letter A. So they call it 8A program, where basically, and I encourage people to do this as well, small businesses can go this route. You take various trainings with SBA, they certify you as an 8A company. And once you're certified as an 8A company, it gives federal contracting officers the ability to give you a sole source contract. So basically, we don't have to compete it, or we can take, a requirement and we can set it aside to only 8A companies, and we can compete amongst 8A companies. And so when they certify a company as 8A, they allow it to stay in the program. I believe it's either 9 or 10 years. They let it stay in the program, and so you get the advantage of possibly getting some sole source contracts for that amount of time. And then they figure after the 10 years, you graduate out of the program. Now you kind of know how, number one, to get a federal contract, and then you kind of know, how to actually perform and, and be in good standing with the federal government. So for small businesses, I try to push them towards SBA and those programs because those are really good. There's another thing is the General Services Administration. Now, they do a ton of contracting, and they have what they call federal supply schedules. And so all you have to do is just do a Google search for you can do GSA schedules library. You can go out there and you see all the different categories of services and different commodities that they have on there. And so you can basically get a contract with them, and federal contracting officers go out there and we look and we see, we'll take a contract and we'll say we're going to go to a GSA schedule for it. So instead of like advertising it out to the public, and finding contractors that way. We can go to the schedule and I can do market research on that GSA schedule and say, okay, I need this janitorial services or I need some type of consultant services or whatever it may be. I got a category on there that I can go to. I can see all the companies that have a scheduled contract for it. And now, just because you get a GSA schedule contract doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get work, but it's a good start because we can go there. We see you have a contract, and then we can order against that contract. And so it streamlines things for the contracting officers, which obviously is a benefit to us, but it's a benefit to you to be on that schedule. So it's just another way to go about getting the contract.
So Brandon, it sounds like we need like a whole training session.
Yeah, and it probably would help if I had like slides and stuff to put up. There's a lot of information, but this is just kind of like the yeah, this is just like the tip of it, just to get a person going and get you thinking about, if you have a business and you're interested in it. And then the other thing is, you know, the federal government contracts for all kind of things, so whatever it is, whatever you're selling or whatever type of service you provide, 99% somewhere in the federal government, they're going to need that service. And so
Can you
another
give me an
thing,
example? Can you give me an example?
so I've done a lot of contracts for consultant services. And so like me being at Department of Energy right now, a lot of it is we would need like, subject matter experts in some, high level scientific field. Uh, and so we'll do a contract for that. And so it could be a person who, let's say they worked a whole career as, some sort of science or some type of in the scientific field, and then they retired and they've been retired and, from time to time they just want to do a little work, on the side. Well, you know, your field may be so unique, to the point that, one of these Department of Energy sub agencies may need your expertise for something. And so all you really would have to do is go to that website, create that identifier number, and then you could respond to a solicitation that the government puts out. Or a lot of times the way those work is, the agency will kind of already have a person in mind, and depending on the dollar value, they could sole source it. Um, it's all different kind of things. So I've done consultant services. It can be janitorial services, mechanical services, like for building operations. I've done all kind of construction contracts. I've contracted for legal services, financial services, HR services. Um, so anything you can think of, they'll you know they contract for.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, I think what I'm gonna have to do, Brandon, is I'm gonna have to have just probably like a 2 hour.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
Yeah, I was trying to give you all that as fast as I could.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a more in-depth, like
Yeah.
deep dive into and go to like the websites and everything. So we'll have
Yeah.
you back on, and
Okay.
we'll make sure that we'll do it where we have enough time to just maybe on a Saturday or something where people
Okay.
have enough time to just kind of grab a cup of coffee and sit back for like an hour and a half, and we'll just go through just some of the options that are out there for people. Because when you start throwing out those websites and you talk
Yeah.
about going through this and that, and it's like, oh, your head starts to swim.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it can be done.
Absolutely. And anything that you want to do, you'll do it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for just giving us the tip of the iceberg
Hmm.
regarding government contracts. And I promise you, everyone, we will have Brandon back and And we're just going to probably do it on a Saturday morning and just go through some things, go through some websites, go through some forms, and just kind of get a really good idea on how to apply for government contracts. So thank you so much, Brandon.
We appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you so much. So next, I am going to have Mr. Bosque. We will add him to our stream. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Good. I'm so glad to have you. And we are here to talk about your outreach ministry. So tell me all about it. First, give me the name of it.
So the name of the outreach ministry is called Move Ministry. Actually, Move Ministry Inc. We were blessed this past week to officially become a nonprofit. So we've completed that step.
Yay.
So I'm going to give the real name, Move Ministry.
All right. That is so wonderful. So what made you start this ministry?
So I started Move Ministry back in 2008. And I've always been involved in my local church, just serving in different ways. You don't know this, but I'm a guitarist / singer / all that good stuff.
What?
But I keep that hid.
Oh, you've been exposed.
But it was, it was one of those. I was just involved in church, and I've always had a desire, just to serve other people. That's just the ministry God has given me, where He's put my heart at. And I was sitting in church one day, and as clear as day, God told me, you need to get up and get moving, get active on the things that I put inside of you. So that ministry was born. 2008, I got with the local church I was at that time, told them that I wanted to start doing some different outreach. And that's where I started at. So it became a kind of a branch, if you will, of the church. And we partnered with the local food pantry. So the church members were then kind of building some relationship in the community. We started doing food. And then one thing I started doing was for the older members of the church, the sick and shut in. We started doing meal services. And then we kind of grew and started doing street outreach, where we would just go knock on doors and kind of do some street evangelism, if you will. And over time, it's just continued to grow. 4 years ago, 2018, was when we really launched the first Meet the Need, is what I called it, first community event. We did that in South Dallas, got with a bunch of friends, and folks showed up and brought food and clothes. And from there, we've been making it an annual deal a couple times a year to get out and serve.
That is wonderful. So you have an event coming up this week?
So we have an event coming up this week, April the 9th, this coming up Saturday. We'll be in South Dallas. And it's the 4th annual spring outreach event. So we typically have about 100, maybe 125 people show up that we serve. We just like to find a location that we see that is in need. So we were driving and we seen a lot of different tents and unhoused people, underserved community. And we were able this year to partner with the church that's in that community. Faith Cumberland is the name of the church. And talked with the pastor. He said, yeah, come on out. You can have the whole lot. And that was right up our alley. So we're looking forward to Saturday at 10 o'clock. We'll be out. We'll be cooking, and we'll be doing clothes and blessing bags. And I think we're going to have some other services while we're there as well this weekend.
So are you needing donations?
We always need donations. Great question. We do have a couple of top needs right now. That would be men is usually the ones that we see the greater need at. So, any men out there that have probably some old shoes that you're not wearing anymore, too small in the closet, we can definitely use those. And then always underwear for men and for women, size large for men and up, and women 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then the other things that always come in handy, of course, is things that we don't think about, bug spray or disposable wipes. So we always try to give out what we call blessing bags, the non-perishable and toiletry kind of bags. So those are really our top needs. And this year we provided an opportunity for someone that may not come out and serve. They can drop off, get a chance to share the address with you, but we can do a drop. We're doing a drop off on Thursday between 6 and 8. Or of course you can just bring the items with you on Saturday morning.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to ask your wife if she would post a comment. Your beautiful wife, Miss Keisha. I see that she is a part of our studio audience tonight, and I asked that she would post some of the things that you said you needed, and if you could post the address of where to drop off on Thursday, and then post the address of where the event will be.
She can take care of that.
All right. Well, I am super proud. I am super proud. I am so glad that God connected us. And it's a blessing. You've connected with a church, Dayspring Family Church, that is very big on outreach. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I am so happy that you have come to be a part of our family. And I appreciate you so much. Any final words of encouragement for someone else who may be thinking about doing the same thing?
I think the main thing of encouragement is just, when God gives you something, you just move on it. For us, the desire for the ministry was to try to meet basic needs. That's food, clothing, and shelter. To this day, we haven't put anyone in a shelter. We do try to provide housing resources, and I think it'll be some people on hand this weekend. But food and clothing, that was very basic. So we just started with what we could do, and tried to make an impact with where we could. I would share, today, as of today, we have fed a little over 500 people, and those are individual hot meals. And that was just because we were obedient. We've clothed over 250 people.
Wow.
And we've given out bags to over 350 plus people in the last 4 years. So you don't have to have the whole thing figured out to start. Just start. And I think the good Lord will bless your efforts. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and letting us know about your ministry. Like I said, I'm super proud of you and so glad that God connected us as brothers and sisters in Christ. And I definitely have some shoes. I have my son. He has like a whole bag of shoes that he is not wearing anymore. And guess what?
We can get those this week. Yes.
You can have those. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're just all in the bag. So
awesome. Thank you.
You're definitely going to get some shoes. And so are you taking items like deodorant and stuff like that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We take any of those lotion, soaps, toothbrushes. A lot of times people put little Vienna sausages or jerky sticks, just stuff that won't go bad that you can put in a gallon Ziploc bag. We call those blessing bags. So yes, we welcome all of that.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you so much, and touching you will definitely be sowing into your ministry and giving you some things to pass out this weekend. And thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. All right. So next we will have Mr. Renix. How are you today, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm blessed.
You know what?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I need to plug up my computer so I can, my extra monitor so that I can play your video.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So while I'm getting everything hooked up, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Renix Graham is my name. And of course, I am a retirement specialist in the financial service industry. I serve in the financial literacy department. That is an extension of our nonprofit organization, Will and Way Community Enrichment Corporation. Along with my wife, we both serve as co-founders of the organization. And in fact, speaking of nonprofit, my wife, she is the facilitator for NPDP, that's nonprofit development programs, helping others who have a desire to want to start a nonprofit but don't know how to do that. She's able to do that, help them and assist them and guide them on how to get the proper way of setting things up with that. And of course, I'm in the financial literacy program. I help our niche market is where we help teachers. Our niche market is the school districts. We talk to staff members regarding their TRS, that's their teachers retirement system, showing them how their pension work, updating them, making them aware of how much they will be expecting when they're getting set to retire, when they're eligible to retire. And that's our niche market. That's what we start off as well. And then we also help out with ERC. That's the big thing that's going on right now. This the employee retention tax credit. And so that's this is another. We would consider this a final round of a stimulus that the government, our IRS, approved to be able to help assist businesses who were destitute, that were going through, suffering through the pandemic. And so I'm not sure if you have the video ready yet.
I'm almost there. Keep
Almost
talking.
there. Okay, no worries at all. But yeah, that's what we do. We just educate the people who are unaware, the school teachers and also business people as well. We cover a lot of bases regarding the financial service industry, whether it's with life insurance, whether if it's retirement, debt. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, helping them out of debt, helping them with savings, how to be able to take advantage, comparing savings based on banks and also triple compounding interest with annuity products, life insurance products as a whole. We have a whole lot, we can definitely cover for sure. But I know tonight we definitely looking forward to the ERC information on that. But in case if you're still working on the video, I can go right on into the info. It's up to you.
I got it right here. I just
Got it? Okay.
thing I need to do. Hold on.
No problem.
I wonder, can I make it big?
No problem.
Let me see. How can I make it big?
I got a fun fact for you. I have two dogs as well, by the way. I have a Labrador and a little Maltese Pooh. And he think he run the house, but he don't. But yeah, he's crazy.
My dog. Wow. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Share my screen. And then, okay, let's see which one. I'm going to share this one. Share. All right. Let me make it. There we go. All right, let's hear it. Can you hear it? Nope. Hold on. There we go. Let me start it over.
Calling all businesses, large businesses, small businesses, nonprofit organizations, whichever. If your company maintains W-2 employees, a minimum of 4 to maximum of 490.
Do I need to start it over, Renix?
Your company
You're good.
For the ERC, and that is the Employee Retention Tax Credit. It's a tax credit that is credited by the IRS. It's not a loan. It's not a grant. It's a tax credit by the IRS. So this is the final round of the stimulus for all businesses. So one of the 3 qualifying events your business would have to qualify for, just one of the 3, not all 3, but just one of the 3. Number 1, your business will have to experience 50% in reduction regarding revenue in 2020. And then in 2021, they will have to experience 20% reduction in revenue in 2021. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is that it will have to be a full or partial shutdown regarding goods and services. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is the company itself will have to experience partial and full shutdown, partial or full shutdown regarding your own business as well. So if your company qualifies for one of those 3 qualifying events, then they could qualify for $26,000 up to, let me make that clear, up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. So that's just a benefit. You want to spread the word and get the word out. This is Renix Graham with Money Monday. All right, y'all have a Money Monday day. Calling all businesses, large businesses, small businesses. Now,
Cool. That was cool. Who was that guy?
That really was cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just do a recap of everything you said.
Okay, no problem. So ERC, people wonder, okay, what is ERC? It's just an acronym like the PPP, like the EIDL. Now, ERC, that stands for Employee Retention Credit. And it's a tax credit for businesses, small businesses, large corporations, nonprofit organizations. And these are for companies who maintain W-2 employees. If you have a minimum of 4 W-2 employees to a maximum of 499 W-2 employees, you could apply and potentially become eligible for the ERC. I don't make any claims or making any promises, but it wouldn't hurt to apply, and you may be surprised that you may be eligible for a certain amount for the tax credit. And just going back to the 3 qualifying events, number one is that in 2020, your company would have had to suffer or experience the 50% reduction in revenue. That's in 2020, 2021. It would have to be 20% reduction in revenue. So both of those years would have to count. That's for number 1 qualification. Number 2 qualification is where your business had a slowdown, where it's partial to full shutdown of goods and services. Perhaps if you're working with merchandises or goods or things that you were relying upon, if those situations became a partial or full shutdown, then that could be a potential qualification for number 2. And number 3, the overall general consistency of your business altogether as a whole. If your business had been shut down partially or full shutdown, that also could qualify as well. So it's not all 3, but just one of the 3. And we'll be glad to, help assist you with that as well. And in fact, I have a flyer. I'll send that over to you, Elder Black. That way you can share, with others who else are in need. So that's how that works with the ERC.
That is wonderful. So I can think of some people now, like hairdressers. When we went through the pandemic, that just totally eliminated their income.
Yeah. It was tough. It was really, really, really tough. I mean, you'd be really surprised. I have a friend who, a friend who was a friend of an owner of a furniture shop, and maybe they've had about 34 employees there, and they have to lay some of them off. A lot of them have to take some cuts based on income, and it was pretty tough. But they qualified, and they qualified for about $500,000. And so this is what happens in this situation based on the amount of the employees who are there. Each employee, they could qualify up to 26,000. 26,000? No. Up to 26,000. Don't get excited. No. Up to 26,000. There's a range, for that. And that can be up to 26,000 per W-2 employee. So that's something that's really, really huge. They announced it in our company. I'm a part of a company called Appreciation Financial. So we have our meetings every single week, and they inform us and update us on certain things that are coming up before the whole public knows. We would get some insight way in advance. And so right now they're taking applications. When you fill out the application and you submit it in, it will take between 5 to 6 months to get approved. But the good news is this. Let me backtrack. You can apply, and 6 months in advance you will know if you're approved, but it will take between 5 to 6 months to get the funding. That's how that works there. So you can apply right away, and within a matter of 24 to 48 hours, you can be approved, but it will take around 5 to 6 months to receive the funding there. But it's still a win-win situation.
Good, even if it's 5 months from now.
And time goes by quick. We already in the second quarter of 2022.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the benefit of that as well. So ERC, that's how it works.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to tell our viewers before we let them go?
Well, just my encouragement. That one thing that I will pull from our nonprofit organization is will and way. If you have the will, God will provide the way. And it just starts with having a purpose, having a will, knowing your why. And if you just have that will and willing to put forth the effort to take that next step, we do believe that God will provide the way for sure. Christian based. So we always, put God in the middle of it all. So,
all right. Anytime you have him involved, it's like a win-win situation.
That's it.
There are 2 or 3.
Amen.
That's 2.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm just going to put this out here. I'm definitely interested in talking to your wife because Touching You Talk Show is actually an extension of Touching You Outreach and Ministries. So, Touching You Outreach and Ministries is going to start a nonprofit that will help those who cannot bury their loved ones. It will be called Touching You Eternally. And I'm going to need your wife's help.
Okay,
Just
absolutely.
putting that out there. I
Spread the
need
word. She'll be glad to be of help and be of service. Absolutely. Thank you.
And then what does she charge?
What does she
We'll
charge?
talk about that later.
We'll definitely talk. We'll definitely chat on offline about it. I'll chat with her and see what it is. She's quite busy, so I'll get with her and then we'll definitely chat for sure. Absolutely.
Ask her, do I get the family discount?
Right,
You know how
right.
we always want a discount.
The Saints and Friends discount. There we go.
No, I'm just kidding. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on and giving this great information. And everyone, I'm going to put his information out here, and I will put Brandon's information out here as well, that you can reach out to them for more and additional information and questions you may have. Let them answer it because I can't. And with Remix, he will be on the show again really soon, and we're going to talk about all of the services that his nonprofit and the company that he works for. We'll talk about all of that. So just keep your hats on, keep that under your head, knowing that he's going to be back on. And then whenever Bosque does another food drive or whatever drive, clothing drive, we'll be back on to let all of you know so that you can participate. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. This has been Touching You Talk Show. I'm Elder Sheila Black. Make sure and join me next week because the guest that I'm going to have next week, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You just have to wait and see. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.